Hey there, so you're starting a startup, or maybe you're already knee deep in building one. Here's something you probably don't want to hear but need to. You're going to fail. Statistically speaking, the odds are not in your favor. In fact, 90% of startups fail. I know that's tough to hear, but let's be real. Most of us in the startup world know that going in, and if you don't, I'm here to give you a reality check. But before you click away, hang on, because this is not about discouraging you. Every successful founder has been where you are. They face this reality, and instead of letting it shut them down, they learn to use it to their advantage. And that's what we're here to talk about today. How you can turn the failure reality into your superpower. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know why these challenges could actually help you, not hold you back. So, let's talk about you, the founder. I'm guessing you're not a stranger to hard work. Maybe you've had this idea in your head for months, maybe even years, and you just couldn't shake it. You're probably dreaming big, imagining how your product could change lives or shake up an industry. You're excited, fired up, and ready to put in the work to make it happen. Or maybe you've already started. You've poured in hours, late nights, sacrificed weekends, maybe even dipped into your savings. Sound familiar? Then here's something else that might hit home. You're likely facing pressure, doubt, maybe even a bit of fear. You've got people around you who just don't get it. Family, friends, maybe even your partner. They don't quite see the vision as you do. They're supportive, sure, but they're also wondering if you've lost your mind. And let's be honest, you've probably asked yourself that same question once or twice. What if this doesn't work? What if I fail? Well, here's a quick truth for you. You're not alone. Every founder feels this way. Every founder has felt doubt and fear. And that doubt, that fear, it's okay. It's actually part of the journey. It's what connects you with other founders out there and the people who've succeeded before you. So if you're feeling those things, you're already on the right track. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you talked to another founder about these feelings? If it's been a while, maybe take a moment after this video to reach out. One of the best ways to stay grounded is to talk to people who get what you're going through. Building a community, having a network of people who understand is going to make all the difference. Now let's get real about some of the hardest parts of the startup journey. These aren't just obstacles, they're almost universal experiences. So if you're going through them, trust me, you're not alone. I'm going to break down each one. And as we go, I want you to ask yourself if you've faced these yet. 1. Uncertainty and risk. There's no other way to put it. Startup life is uncertain. It's a constant state of risk. Unlike a 9-to-5 job with a clear path and a steady paycheck, starting a startup is more like jumping off a cliff and trying to build a parachute on the way down. Every day, you're deciding what's next. You're wondering, is this the right move? Is this the best use of my time? You're constantly thinking, am I making the right decisions? Let me give you a reality check here. If you feel uncertain, you're actually on the right path. It's not about knowing exactly what will happen next. It's about building resilience for the unknown, because that's the only constant in startups. 2. Financial strain. Money is a huge stressor, especially if you're bootstrapping. Maybe you're relying on savings, asking friends or family to pitch in, or working long hours on top of this to stay afloat. Or maybe you're pitching to investors who have tough questions and you don't have all the answers yet. It's stressful, right? And the truth is, financial strain isn't a maybe, it's almost a given. Here's the common mistake founders make: pouring everything they have into creating a perfect first version of their product. You don't need perfection right away. Stay lean, test early, and make adjustments as you go. The goal here is to create something that works before creating something that's perfect. 3. Emotional and mental toll. Let's talk about something not enough people talk about: the emotional toll. Startup life can be lonely. You're the one making all the decisions. You're handling rejection, and it's tough when people around you just don't get the stakes. You're dealing with constant pressure to succeed, often at the expense of relationships and personal time. When was the last time you took a full day off? For many founders, they can't remember. So here's a question for you to think about. Are you making time to protect your mental health? Because if you're not, burnout will catch up to you fast. It's so important to make time for self-care, even if it feels like you can't afford it. Pivoting and failure. Did you know that more than 80% of startups pivot? So if you're already feeling like you need to change direction, you're not alone. A pivot isn't a sign of failure. It's a sign that you're learning, adapting, and getting closer to what your users actually need. Twitter started as a podcasting platform. Slack started as a gaming company. A pivot is just a fine-tuning of your vision, and it's often a necessary part of the journey. Don't think of pivots as giving up on your original idea. Think of them as a sign that you're listening, learning, and getting stronger. 5. Work-life balance. And finally, there's work-life balance, or rather, the lack of it. Most founders sacrifice weekends, evenings, and sometimes even sleep. You might be thinking this is just what it takes. And in a way, you're right, it does take a lot of sacrifice. But here's the thing. Without balance, you're not going to last. You need to be more than just a founder. So try to set small boundaries, even if it's just one evening a week. Make time for the things that keep you grounded. Alright, so you're probably wondering, how can I get through all of this? The good news, these challenges, as tough as they are, come with solutions. You just need to approach them strategically. Let's break down a few ways to handle each one so you're equipped to tackle them head on. 1. Embrace failure as learning. First, let's reframe failure. Failure is part of the journey. Every time you hit a wall, it's a chance to learn something new. When something doesn't work, don't think of it as wasted time. Instead, think of it as a lesson in what not to do. Every failure is progress as long as you take the lesson and keep going. And guess what? Even the biggest names in tech have been there. Jeff Bezos once said, failure and invention are inseparable twins. Embrace that mentality. Challenge for you. After this video, take 5 minutes to write down the top 3 reasons why you think your startup will succeed. It sounds simple, but it can actually boost your motivation and help you keep sight of what you're working toward. 2. Build your support network. You don't have to go it alone. Find mentors, a co-founder, or a community of other founders. Look for groups on social media, attend local startup meetups, or join online forums where people discuss real struggles. Building a network is key. It's a way to keep perspective and get advice from others who've been where you are. Quick tip: reach out to just one other founder today. Send them a message, ask how they're doing, or even share a quick piece of advice. It's a small step, but over time, these connections add up to a solid support system. 3. Managing financial strain. Start lean and test. Early money is tight and every dollar counts. Here's a common mistake founders make. They assume they need the perfect version of their product from day one. But here's a secret. Most of the time, early customers don't want perfect. They want useful. What they really care about is that it solves their problem, even if it's not polished. The goal here: start lean. Test small, fast, and early. Create a minimum viable product, MVP, a basic version of your idea that you can launch quickly and cheaply. This way, you'll know if it resonates with real customers before you invest more time or money. Challenge for you: after this video, think about one feature you could strip down or simplify to get your product in front of users faster. Remember, every MVP is a stepping stone to something better. Your job is to learn as you go, not launch the perfect product right away. 4. Protecting your mental health. Mental resilience isn't just helpful in startups, it's essential. Think of it like a mental recharge strategy. If you don't take time to recharge, burnout is almost inevitable. And when burnout hits, it doesn't just hurt you, it impacts your whole company. Your team, your product, your vision. They all rely on you staying strong. Here's a small but powerful habit. Set aside even 10 minutes a day just to decompress. That could be meditating, taking a walk, or simply stepping away from the screens. Make this a non-negotiable. Also, don't be afraid to ask for help. It could be a therapist, a mentor, or even an experienced founder who can offer advice. Many founders have walked this road and they get it. Quick reflection. Ask yourself this: am I building routines that keep me healthy and focused? Because if you don't make time for mental health now, it's going to catch up with you later. 5. Staying flexible and embracing the pivot. In startup life, there's a saying: no plan survives first contact with the customer. And it's true. What you think is a winning idea may need to change as you get real-world feedback. This is where flexibility is your best friend. A pivot doesn't mean you're giving up on your dream. It means you're learning and adapting to give your customers exactly what they need. And remember, some of the biggest names in tech started off doing something completely different. Twitter started as a podcast platform, YouTube as a dating site, and Slack as a game. Pivoting is not failure, it's insight. The sooner you learn to pivot based on what your users want, the stronger your startup becomes. Action step. Think about your current product. Ask yourself, if I had to change directions tomorrow, what would be the first step? Preparing for a pivot means you're ready to adapt, no matter what. Alright, let's talk about some common mistakes that kill startups before they even get a chance to grow. If you avoid these, you'll already be ahead of most early stage founders. Mistake number 1: spending too much too soon. When you're building something you're passionate about, it's tempting to pour everything into it. You might want the best developers, the best marketing, or the best designs from day one. But here's the thing: your early customers are looking for value, not perfection. They care more about whether it solves a real problem than about whether it's polished. Instead of putting all your resources into one big launch, try releasing small, testing, and iterating based on feedback. Remember, most successful companies start scrappy. The goal here is to survive long enough to learn and adapt. Mistake number 2: ignoring the customer's voice. Many founders fall into the trap of thinking they know best. But here's a hard truth: your customers are the real experts. If they're not resonating with your idea, it doesn't matter how great it seems to you. The more you listen, the faster you'll find out what they really want. And sometimes what they want will surprise you. Quick tip: if you're not talking to customers every week, start now. Make it a habit to get regular feedback. Reach out, get on calls, read their emails, and really pay attention. The more you listen, the less guesswork there is. Mistake number 3: neglecting the team dynamic. Your team is one of your biggest assets. If you're working with others, building a culture of trust, open communication, and accountability early on is key. Conflicts, misunderstandings, or lack of clear goals can break even the best ideas. Take the time to align with your co-founders or early employees. Be clear about roles, responsibilities, and values. It might sound trivial, but a strong, united team can overcome massive obstacles that would crush others. If you've made it this far, you're already proving that you're serious about making your startup succeed. And while this journey might be one of the toughest things you'll ever do, remember, you're not alone. There's a whole community of founders who understand these struggles. Many of them have failed, pivoted, and come out stronger. Here's something I want you to keep in mind. The only real failure is giving up. Every setback is a stepping stone to something greater. And every obstacle is a lesson that gets you one step closer to success. You're building resilience, learning to adapt, and you're growing every single day. Now I'd love to hear from you. What's the hardest part of your startup journey so far? Share it in the comments below. Or if you're comfortable, connect with me on social media. And let's keep this conversation going. This is more than just a video. It's a community. We're here to support each other, learn from each other, and lift each other up. Because the truth is, no founder does it alone. And remember, no matter how tough it gets, you've got what it takes to make this work. Keep going, keep learning, and don't forget, you're already ahead of the curve just by taking this journey. So go out there, build, test, pivot if you need to, and keep moving forward. Your startup journey is just beginning, and I am excited to see where it takes you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the comments.